What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What is going on, YouTube fam? Let's get it. Let's get it. We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna get this thing kicked off. And as a matter of fact, let me check real quick. We got 3 more minutes at 4:03. So 3 more minutes. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go live. I need y'all to do one thing for me. One thing, because we're about to drop some sauce. And I don't even think I should be giving this out for free, but I'm gonna do this for y'all. Okay. So go ahead and blast this out to everybody that you know. Even if they don't trade, send it to somebody. Because everybody wants to make money online. And we're gonna be running it up this year. We're gonna create a lot of full-time traders. And I already know what's gonna happen, man. But it starts with you guys. You guys believe in it. So let's run it up. Let's do what we gotta do. And we are live in 3 minutes. Let's go. All right, YouTube fam, what is going on today on this beautiful Tuesday? This is officially my second live stream here on YouTube. Really diving deep, man, diving deep into the charts, diving deep into helping you guys take your trading to the next level. So if you guys are excited about this year, about 2022, if you're excited about the future of your trading and growing that account and taking the skill to a whole new level this year, I need y'all to light up the chat for me. Light it up, man. Light it up, light it up, light it up. Drop something in chat. Let me feel the energy, man. If you guys know me on a personal level, if you've ever met me, if you've ever been on one of my streams outside of YouTube, if you're a part of our academy, man, if you're a part of our groups, our mentorship, whatever the case may be, you know I love energy. I love energy, man. I'm always fired up. I try to keep my energy high. I try to keep my spirits high. So it's only right if I'm on here with you guys for free, dropping knowledge that a lot of these people are charging hundreds of, if not thousands of dollars for. You guys got to reciprocate that energy with me, all right? That's all that I ask. That's all that I ask. You know what I'm saying? If you want to drop a donation or two, that's cool too. I'm kidding, right? But guys, look, so today we're going to be jumping in as promised, really diving into, honestly, the foundation of how it is that I trade. And when I say how I trade, I mean primarily binary options. Now, what I teach, a lot of the stuff that I teach can be applied to any style of trading. But for most of you who know me, you know that by now, I have officially, I mean, it's been a while. It's been like, what, 2 years? I've officially made the switch to binary options. So I am a binary options trader, and that is all that I trade. I don't trade MT4 anymore. I don't trade stocks or anything like that. I trade binary options. So today we're going to dive into understanding the charts a little bit more, the foundation of what it is that I look for when I trade binary options, my exact, the kind of like my strategy, my indicators, and more importantly, the settings. All right, the settings that I have on all of that as well. Again, to help you take your trading to the next level. Now, I want to make it very clear because I have to do this. All right. When it comes to trading, I want everyone here to understand that the biggest room in the world is the room for improvement. So you should always be getting better. This one live right here might help you in your trading. You might see more profits. You might become more profitable, understand the markets a little bit better. But you always want to be getting better in your trading. You always want to be progressing. And obviously learning more stuff. So today I'm gonna be going primarily over some of the basics, but some of the basics that can help you out and that I guarantee you will help you out. But you don't want to stop there, and that's my point, right? You don't want to stop there. So real quick, how many of you here were on my live stream last week? Right? How many of you here were on the live stream last week? You guys know I have the I'm gonna keep the chat on my phone. I have it to the side of me, but it's way too small. Like I can barely even see it. So I'm gonna keep the live stream right to the right of me, all right, to see exactly what everyone is typing in. And then every few minutes as well, I'll be answering questions. So make sure you guys, as we're going over the training, as we're marking up the charts and stuff like that, ask your questions. Because again, this stream is for free, man. Take advantage of it. Ask your questions. I'll be answering a few questions every few minutes, all right? All right, so how many of you here were here last Tuesday? All right, last Tuesday. Let's go, let's go, let's go. All right, let's go, let's go. Perfect. So we got some people that were here. We got some people that wasn't here. Okay, so I would recommend, first and foremost, if you weren't here last Tuesday, after this live, especially if you're brand new to trading, after this live, go back and watch last Tuesday's live stream. All of my live streams are going to have the same exact thumbnail on it. I actually even have a playlist specifically just for the live streams as well. So make sure you guys go back and you watch it. I'm going to try to keep it in order and talking about a few things. Now, from my past live stream, I've had so many people, like my inbox. After that first stream, my inbox became absolutely flooded with people pretty much wanting to know, because I did mention that, we have a trading group, a trading community, and that I do work with an academy and stuff like that. And so many people wanted more information on that, like wanted to know how they could trade with me, how they could be a part of it, what comes with, obviously being a part of the academy and the group and stuff like that. So before we get this live going, I want to go ahead and kind of touch up on that real quick. And then we're going to get into the trading right after this. So first and foremost, okay, guys, if you guys are interested in actually learning more from me directly, mentorship-wise, training-wise, whatever the case may be, the link is going to be in the description down below. So you go ahead and take advantage of that. But yes, I am a part of I Am Academy, and I am an educator on the platform as well. All right, I'm an educator on I Am Academy. So I want to go ahead and kind of just share my screen real quick with you guys to let you know or kind of fill you in on a few things. So let me see if I can find it, right? But this is actually my live stream channel on the academy itself. This is my live stream channel right here. And in terms of just really tapping in And again, learning from me, being able to plug into my sessions. I do sessions 4 times a week. All right, so 4 times a week, every single week. We have been running it up. I've been an educator for the last 2 months, so we've been running up every single week, 4 times a week. All right, really diving into learning how to trade binary options and actually getting good at it, right? Now, when you get started, I always recommend you go to my favorites. I have a full-on boot camp, and this is kind of separate from the academy itself, like all the extra stuff the academy has to offer, as well as obviously I have my team group, my Discords, my Telegrams, so on and so forth that you're going to get access to as well. But going through these boot camps, I literally teach you everything that I know in terms of trading and how to take your trading to the next level. Everything from the beginner basics to indicators to market structure, candlestick reversals, everything like that. If you're into like Nadex, I know a lot of you here are interested in like Nadex and stuff. We are not affiliated, nor do we promote Nadex, but I do have videos showing you how you can get better at trading with that platform as well. And then lastly, every single Sunday, we do a live mentorship session, which is very interactive. I have students send me in some of their losing trades so that we can go ahead and we can analyze it together and figure out what we could have done better for the next time. So absolutely sick. And this is just the beginning. This is a small portion of obviously what it is that you get access to with that. Now, obviously, I can show you a bunch of thumbnails and stuff like that and tell you how good it is, but I actually want to show you this, right? And I'm not going to read through all of them, but this is just in the last, 2 months that I've been an educator on the platform. This is some of the feedback that I've been getting from the other students that probably aren't even directly associated with me in my group, but that get on my live streams here with the academy as well. And like I said, I'm not going to read through all of them. If you guys want, you can come back, you can rewatch the video. But as you guys can see, people are absolutely loving and enjoying the session. 5-star rating all the way down. All right, this is not one of those fake promotion kind of things where, I can fake these reviews. These are actually in the back office of the academy from students that are actually a part of the academy. So you guys see here, Rico is amazing. His style of teaching is extremely clear and very helpful, right? He interacts truly with his students, so on and so forth. Like, it's fire, guys. Like, we really tap in. We dive deep into this page after page after page. I got so many reviews. And like I said, but I've only been on for 8 weeks, right? I've only been on the platform for about 8 weeks, especially if you're including the holidays in there, where I wasn't really doing too many lives during the holidays. But for those of you who are interested, and like I said, teaming up, with me, learning directly from me outside of the YouTube aspect, because obviously as an educator, there's only so much that I can do or say on YouTube. But again, if you want to take it to the next level, this is how you go ahead and do it. It's going to be right here, okay? So I wanted to go ahead and get that out of the way. Now, jumping into the charts, let's get straight into it. I don't want to waste your guys' time too much, and y'all know I don't want to be here too long either, right? But jumping into the charts. Oh, actually, let me answer this real quick because I see it in the chat. So people are saying, how much is the academy? So for the next 6 days, actually 5 days, for the next 5 days, they're running a promotion because we have a huge event that's coming up in South Florida, West Palm Beach. If you guys want to attend that, let me know as well on Instagram. I'll go ahead. I'll send you the tickets so that you can attend. But we have a huge event coming up next weekend. So for the next 5 days, the price is only $185 to start. All right, so $185 to start. All right. All right. Rich Cooper, I don't know what you're getting at. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So when we're talking about trading, I'm going to get rid of all this real quick, and we're going to come back to it. Okay. When we're talking about trading binary options, how many of you here are brand new to trading binary options? Okay, how many of you here are brand new to trading binary options? Let me see it real quick. Let me see it. I want to see exactly where everybody is at. All right, where does everybody stand? All right. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. I just don't get the relevance of what it is that you're typing. It's kind of irrelevant. It literally says that before you even sign up, you have to agree to all the terms, and it'll tell you all of that stuff anyway. So it's not relevant. And if you already knew, If you already knew, why are you asking in the chat? Like, come on. Anyway, so for everyone that is brand new, obviously to trading, for everyone that's brand new to trading, here's the first thing I want to address. Okay, so we kind of went over this last week a little bit, but it goes a little something like this. Okay, if you're looking at the markets, obviously for someone that's brand new, this can look very confusing, right? You probably have no idea what it is that you're looking at. It looks like a heartbeat monitor, very confusing kind of thing. Okay, now what I want you guys to understand is that, again, the markets move in patterns. Okay, they move in patterns. And they do these patterns over and over and over again. The idea or the goal is to get to kind of understanding these patterns and identifying these patterns before they happen. So if we can get good at identifying the patterns before they happen, this is where we make all of our money at. Okay? Now, when it comes to trading binary options, all right, the markets, again, they move in 3 directions, up, down, and sideways. All right? 3 directions, up, down, sideways. All right? Those are the only 3 directions that they move. All right? Now, typically when you trade, most people really only look for these ups and these downs movements, right? The big ups and the big downs, all right? That's typically what most traders are looking to trade, the big ups and the big downs, right? But in binary options, if you guys who are familiar with binary options, in binary options, it's a little simpler in the sense that we can actually get paid on all 3 directions, which will be up, down, and sideways. So if we're talking about sideways movement, this can be seen as, all right, zooming in a little bit, actually zooming a lot, right? But the sideways movement will be seen as something like this, where I can put a line and you can see clear as day that the market isn't really trending in any specific direction, but instead it's kind of just going sideways. So you get that here, right? Even in this area here, it's moving straight to the side. Now, when we're trading binaries, what's really cool, and the reason why we can trade these sideways movements is because when we're trading, we don't really need to get these big moves in the market, right? We don't need to get these big moves in order for us to clear our trades and be profitable. So if I'm zooming in, as you guys should know by now, binary options is time-based, right? It's time-based trading. So when we're talking about time-based trading and you're looking at, for example, like the candlesticks, okay? Each one of these candlesticks represent what the market has done within a certain period of time, right? So if I'm looking at this candle going up, and this is the 5-minute chart, by the way, right? So if I'm looking at this candle going up, then this was a 5-minute push up in the market. If I'm looking at this candle going up, this was a 5-minute push up in the market. If I'm looking at this candle, this was a 5-minute push up in the market. Now, a lot of you here, all right, for the people that already trade, dropping in the chat for me real quick. All right, dropping in the chat for me real quick. What is the average time, right? The average amount of time that you guys are on in each position. What's your average expiration time? All right, for those of you who do already trade, what's the average expiration time that you guys get? Okay, let me know. Is it some of you guys maybe 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour, 2 hours? What's your expiration time? Okay. Okay, cool. Cool. So I'm seeing a lot. I see a lot of 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. Some people say 2 minutes, right? 15 minutes to an hour. So for the most part, I'm seeing a lot of 3 to 5 minutes, right? So if we know that obviously for the most part, a lot of us are trading 3 to 5 minutes, if we're doing our markups and analysis on, like, for example, this is the 5-minute time frame, then we only really need to be correct for one candlestick, right? We only need to be correct for one candlestick. Now, this is very important because, again, one candlestick could be what? Let's take a look at this, right? One candlestick could be 2 pips. One candlestick could be 1 pip. One candlestick could be a half a pip, right? And we could still make the same amount of money as somebody who was trading from this, all right, from here all the way to up here, which is 42 pips. So in the same movement of somebody trading 42 pips, we can make that same amount of money with just 1 pip. See, that's why I like binary options. It's very simple. It's easy. It's straight to the point. I literally only trade about 30 minutes to an hour a day, an hour and a half at most, right? If I'm feeling like, you know, I'm bored, I'm sitting on my computer, I'm like, why not? Let's keep going. But 30 minutes to an hour a day is the only time that I actually spend on the charts. And it's because I get on, I identify my setups, I find my setups, I wait to get into the setups, I get in, the trades are over within 5 minutes, and I can literally take about 3 to 4 trades in less than an hour and walk away with someone's weekly, you know, income in less than an hour, right? So that's why I love binary options. Now, of course, you can do that same thing on MetaTrader 4, but to be able to do that on other styles of trading, like MT4, for example, you need a bigger lot size. And in order to have a bigger lot size, if you're going to do a standard or 2 standards or 3 standards, whatever the case may be, you're going to need a bigger what? You're going to need a bigger account size, right? So again, in my opinion, binary options is lit, okay? And understanding what it is that we just went over, you already get the basics down pat. So now let's talk about the actual adding indicators, understanding how I trade, so on and so forth. So when I trade, I started off as a trader, okay? I started off as a trader, brand new. It wasn't until I started scalping in the markets. So if you guys go back on my channel, you see that I used to do a lot of MT4 videos and stuff like that. And back then, I was a scalper. So on MT4, I was literally going for about 5 to 10 pips, sometimes 15, right? I would always twin trade. If you guys don't know what twin trading is, I'll probably make a video on that if I get enough requests, right? But I will always twin trade, whereas I would have 2 positions open. Okay, I'll split my risk down the middle, have 2 positions open. One of them was a scalp, where I got out of the trade within about 10 pips. And one of them, I trailed my stop loss to break even and then stop profit and then stop profit. And I let the trade ride out until eventually I got stopped out. And that's how I used to trade, right? That's how I used to trade. Now, in doing that, I say that to say that I already kind of had experience in getting in and out of the markets with a bag, right? I had experience with short-term trades and understanding how to trade. And when I started trading binary options, when I came to the binary options world, I started to really break down some of the things that made me or that developed me into the trader that I had become. And I kind of broke it down to the basics. And the reason being is because when I found binary options, I'll be honest with you guys, when I found binary options, I was almost in a situation, I was just literally starting to get out of a situation, but I was in a situation that where right beforehand, I got laid off from my job, right? How many of you can relate to that, right? I got laid off to a job that was paying me amazing, that I thought was the greatest in the world. I was like, hey, look, this is it. I'm super young. I'm early 20s, not even, whatever yet. And I have a good paying job. I had a side business, right? I was making some money trading. I thought life was lit. And I got laid off from the job. Out of nowhere, the job literally just disappeared. Everyone got fired, right? And it's so crazy that as that happened, at the same time, I had just moved into my new apartment. I had just found out my girlfriend was pregnant. It was an insane time for me. And it kind of got to the point where I started to put trading on the back end a little bit. And I started to Uber. For those of you who know, you heard me say it before, I used to Uber. Before I became like a real trader, I was actually an Uber driver. And as I was Ubering and, obviously taking care of my son was just born and everything like that, I started to trade and I found binary options. And I had to really sit down and think to myself because I didn't have a lot of time between my schedule, between Ubering, between taking care of my son while my girl was at work and everything like that. I didn't have a lot of time. I definitely didn't have a lot of money, right? I was pretty much broke. And I'm like, okay, well, how can we make this thing super simple to the point where I can get it and get it really fast, right? And the more I started to do it, the more I started to understand it, the more I started to teach it to other people. But I kind of broke it down into these 3 things right here, all right? And if you guys are taking notes, I want y'all to take notes on this. I told y'all I'm going to give y'all a sauce, right? I'm going to give y'all a sauce, okay? So number 1 is indicators. And that's primarily what we're going to be going over today, all right, is indicators. Number 2 is SRTs, okay? How many of you here know what SRTs are? Dropping in the chat real quick. All right, if you guys know what SRTs are, drop it in the chat. And then number 3 is reversals. Okay, so you got indicators, SRTs, and reversals. All right, so now let me break them down for you really quickly. All right, I'm gonna break it down for you really quickly, and then we're gonna get into a few questions in about 2 more minutes. I'm gonna check my timer real quick. All right, cool. So Indicators, okay? Now, there's a lot of traders out there, primarily MT4 traders, stock traders, right? Very old school, just keeping it real. There's a lot of traders out there that pride themselves on not using any indicators. And I'm just a very simple guy. I was never really the sharpest tool in the shed, not really a straight A student, right? I'm a simple guy. When I saw indicators and I saw how simple it actually was to use indicators, and I'm not saying that everyone here should only be using indicators, but they are tools to make your trading more convenient, right? To make your trading easier. And I don't know about you guys, but if we're looking at convenience, we look at the world today, everything that we buy pretty much is for our convenience, right? I got people outside of my building, they're doing construction in the front, right? They're remodeling the whole outside of the building and everything like that. And they have trucks, bulldozers, shovels, so on and so forth, right? I want you guys to think of it like this. I have no problem with indicators, and here's why. If someone was to tell me that, yo, I just got told that there is 100 grand, right? There's $100,000 somewhere out in the front yard. There's $100,000. The previous owner, somebody that used to live here, buried $100,000 in the front yard. If you find it, you keep it, right? How many of you here would go to the front yard and start digging with your hands? For all my men, right? For all my men, how many of you here would go outside, okay, and start digging with your hands? And be like, oh no, I'm a man. I'm not using no shovels, man. I'm a man out here. I'm gonna dig with my hands. Nah, you're crazy. I would go out. I got Home Depot 5 minutes away. If there's not a neighbor that has a shovel, if I can't find a shovel, I'm gonna go to Home Depot. We're gonna find a shovel, right? We'll find a drill. I'll be out there like, we're gonna find that $100,000, right? It's easy, okay? That's how I see indicators. Indicators are very simple to use. And the reason why I love indicators, especially for brand new people, this is why I make so many videos on like the best indicators, stuff like that. Because I really do believe that as a brand new trader, you can actually be very profitable just by using indicators. And the reason being is because indicators tell you, pretty much they give you an idea of what the market is going to do next based off of what the market has previously done. That's what indicators are, if you guys didn't know, right? So they give you an idea of what the market is going to do next based off of what the market has previously done, okay? Now, the reason why I love indicators is because of this. It's a very simple concept. It's like a Simon Says kind of concept, right? If, like, for example, if we're looking at the Bollinger Bands, how many of you here know how to use Bollinger Bands? We're going to get into it right after, right? But if we're looking at the Bollinger Bands, the market comes to the top Bollinger Bands, what do? You sell. Your market comes to the bottom Bollinger Bands, what do? You buy. It's like Simon Says. Market comes to the top, Simon says sell. Market goes to the bottom, Simon says buy. That's literally how indicators work. You don't have to be super smart to understand indicators. You don't. All you have to do is, hey, this is how it works. Follow the leader. You follow the instructions, you're good to go. So that's why when I first started trading binaries, I started with indicators. Whenever I teach, I always start with indicators because I know trading is a complicated concept. It's easy to do, but it's a complicated concept. If we can make it easier for you, you're going to be more open to expanding your knowledge and learning more, right? So obviously, I'm going to teach you the easy stuff first to help you get some results, make some profit, and then naturally, you're going to be like, okay, I'm ready for the next step. Let's go. If I give you the hardest thing first and I tell you, you have to start marking up support and resistance and find key levels and zones, in the chat real quick, and we're going to get to some questions right now. In the chat real quick, dropping in the chat, guys, how many of you here struggle with support and resistance? Keep it real. How many of you here struggle, or you would probably don't even know what support and resistance is, but how many of you here struggle with support and resistance? Okay, drop it in the chat. All right. Let's see. Big time, right? Right? So that's why I don't start with it. It doesn't make sense to start with it because if I come in, this is why most people quit trading early. Because they think it's like rocket science. Because you get people, I swear, especially on YouTube, I'm going to keep it real. I like to keep it real. All right? Most YouTubers are not going to like me for this. All the people selling like the big, $1,000 courses and stuff like that. Okay? The truth is, a lot of the times you start with the hard stuff and the most complicated stuff because people are not going to understand it. And if they don't understand it, they'll either quit or they'll pay you to learn more, right? I always teach indicators first, man. It's the easiest thing to learn. Now, once you get the indicators down, Then step 2 is what? For me, SRTs. Now, if you don't know what SRTs, that's what this is. It's support, okay, resistance, and trends. All right, support, resistance, and trends, right? I know I spelled it wrong, whatever. All right, but support, resistance, and trends, that's SRTs. So the first thing I always teach is indicators. Once you get the indicators down and you can get good at identifying those reversals based off of your indicator-based confirmations, now we can get to SRTs, because if we get good at just the indicator-based confirmations, naturally you'll start to see areas of support and resistance on your own. And it'll kind of become like second nature. It becomes easy for you, right? You'll start to see this stuff on your own, okay? Just off of like the Bollinger Bands, for example, I can go to the top of the Bollinger Bands, find some Bollinger Band bounces, and we can find areas of support and areas of resistance that we can trade off of. And it'll be super easy to do, right? Now, the next thing, and lastly, is reversals, okay? Reversals. Now, reversals are always the last thing that I teach, and here's why, right? There's a method to my madness. Reversals are the last thing that I teach because reversals is it's a very broad like category of things, right? So you have candlestick reversals, which there are dozens of different candlestick reversals you can learn. You have market reversals, there are dozens of different market reversals you can learn. And then my favorite, I actually go over this in my bootcamp. It's one of my favorite things, absolute favorite. If you tapped into my bootcamp, and you watch video number 5, drop a 5 in the chat for me real quick. Market timing. Market timing is next level. I'm telling you right now, you learn market timing, it's going to take your trading to a whole new level, right? But market timing reversals and understanding that the markets actually reverse at specific times all the time, almost every single day. You're going to catch reversals at these specific time frames, right? At these specific time frames. So it happens over and over and over again. But again, reversals, it's such a wide variety of reversals, right? A wide variety of reversals to catch. Look at this. We actually could have caught this trade right here. This is exactly what I'm going to be teaching you today, guys, by the way. But such a wide variety of, again, reversals out there that it only makes sense to go over it last, right? It only makes sense to go over it last. So let's go ahead. Let's jump into the indicators really quickly, guys. All right, let's jump into the indicators. All right, and we're going to run this thing up. All right, we're going to run this thing up. So as most of you know, if you tapped into my video, all right, it's a more short-formed video, but if you go to my YouTube channel, I have a video that I did a few months back. One of the last videos I uploaded, honestly, but it was the number one binary options trading strategy for beginner, right? Check that out, okay? I think the thumbnail says like best indicators or something like that, right? If you watch that, you know that when you're going to Tradingview, so go to tradingview.com. If you guys don't have a Tradingview, hit the link up in the description. Go ahead and start your account. It's free, right? But hit up Tradingview. You're going to type this in, EVAN, okay? Evan Cabral, Binary Strategy 2, all right? Now, once you guys type in Evan Cabral, Binary Strategy 2, it's going to load up the preset onto your screen, okay? So this is an actual preset. The reason why this is cool is because this gives you all of the indicators that I use inside of one preset. Now, if you guys are familiar with Tradingview, you know that Tradingview only allows you to have 3 indicators up at once, right? For the free version, on the free version. If you want more than 3 indicators, then you have to pay, right? You have to pay. Or if you want to go ahead and load up multiple charts, right? Let's just say I wanted to, have like four charts at once or whatever. You have to pay for that, right? If you have the free version, okay, then all you should be worried about is obviously these 3 indicators that I'm about to give you, okay? So you're going to load up that preset. You're going to go to the settings. Now, if you want, you can keep all of these on if you want, okay? What I recommend as someone that's brand new, I don't want to hit you with like information overload, and we also don't want our charts to be like too messy, if that makes sense. So what you can do is you can actually uncheck, not these are right here, number 2 and number 3. I really don't use those like at all, right? I never really use these number 2 and number 3. If you want, you can keep them on. All right, but I'd say uncheck them. And then also keep the Bollinger Bands on. Okay, keep the Bollinger Bands on. All right. And for this training, for the sake of this training, I'm going to remove the 200 moving average. We're not going to go over that today. We don't really have to do that today, okay? So I just unchecked the first 3 right here. Everything else, leave on. All right, everything else, leave on. All right. Now, before I move on, let's go ahead and hit up the chat really quick. Boom, boom, boom. Make sure there's questions. All right, let's go. Let's go. Boom, boom, boom. So someone said, I've been with the academy for 2 months. You have to pay for education just like any other education. It's worth every dollar. Let's go. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Let's go. Let's go. Rico sessions are the best. I appreciate you. All right. Boom, boom, boom. I joined the academy at the end of January. So worth the money for what I'm learning. Let's get it. Rico's the best educator for sure. Let's get it. All right. Hey, Rico, do you use the bigger time frames to get your setups or use only a 5-minute time frame? So it kind of depends on what it is that I'm trading. So if I'm trading short term, I only use the short term time frames. All right. Now, if you're on a platform like Nadex, for example, which kind of forces you at times to do longer term trades, then on that, I usually do like the 15 minutes to the 1 hour time frame, and I'll be in for a few hours, right? But that's completely different. I would say for the most part, a lot of you guys are able to trade short term. Stick to the 5-minute and the 3-minute. Some you can go up to the 15-minute as well, but I wouldn't really do much past that. Okay, let's get it. This man stays working. Let's go, my man, Rich Wood. What up, Rich? All right. Please leave this live up. Yes, this is actually going to be in my live streams playlist, so don't worry about it. All right. Let's go. Boom, boom, boom. God bless Rockstar. God bless you. God bless you. All right. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right. Boom, boom, boom. I lost 90% of pocket option. Let's see. Let's see. Just a quick question. I've heard bad reviews on Forex when withdrawing funds. Has anyone withdrew more than $1,000? So, Dylan, to answer your question, yes, I have withdrew more than $1,000, but I don't use those platforms anymore. To be honest, I don't like them. Right? I just heard so much bad stuff about it, and I'll be honest, keeping 1,000% honest with you, I personally haven't had a bad experience with it, but a lot of my students have, and a lot of people outside of people that I know have as well. So in learning a lot of the things that I learned about the platform, so like for example, I'm about to break some of your hearts, okay? But I'm just keeping it real. Forex, Race Option, IQ Cent, Binary Cent, and I believe that's it. They're all owned by the same exact people. They're all owned by the same people. I would recommend get off of those platforms. All right. I said it on my last stream. I'll say it again. Okay. They're all owned by the same people. They give you a hard time with withdrawing large amounts of money. So you can make, like, let's say, for example, you make $100,000. You can't withdraw $20,000. You can't withdraw $50,000. They won't allow you to do it. All right. So eventually, when you start to get to the big money, it's not really best to be on. All right. Now, if you've been with them for a while, from what I understand, if you've been with them for a while, if you grew some trust with them, you started withdrawing small and then eventually withdrew big, it might be a little bit different. But again, if it's my money, I want my money, right? And I'm sure everyone here can agree with that. So I don't trade on those anymore. All right. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Please repeat the person's name to type in. Evan, E-V-A-N. Okay. Yes. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go. Yeah, I mean, it is fire. All right. So someone said, hey, is Tradingview chart and pocket options chart move the same? Yes. Okay. Yeah, so you guys gotta be careful. That's the last one I'm gonna get to, and then I'm gonna get back to the training. So when it comes to pocket option, you have to be careful with what's called OTC. So when you guys get on these platforms, these unregulated platforms and these random binary option platforms, I don't have a problem with pocket, by the way. So I do want to make that clear. I don't have a problem with that platform at all. But when you do trade it, if you see OTC next to the currency pair, that is over the counter. So that's not the actual market prices. Those are over the counter prices. And a lot of the times what happens is that if a broker doesn't have enough liquidity, which is like enough people, trading on it, what they'll do is they'll go to over-the-counter kind of companies, whatever the case may be, over-the-counter markets or exchanges to then get over-the-counter prices, which turn out to be cheaper for them. And they'll offer their traders OTC, which is over-the-counter prices, which is why if it says OTC, it will not match up with the actual market because it is not the actual market. I don't trade OTC. I don't trust OTC because you just want to trade in the actual market. You don't want to trade over the counter, right? So, all right, so let's get back to the trading. So, as we were saying, what were we saying? Oh, I think, all right, so we just went over the Evan indicator, okay? So as we're looking at what we have left on our screen, by the way, guys, my colors are custom, so I don't want you guys to get confused by my colors. Obviously, this is my chart. I customize my chart. Everything red means sell. Everything blue means buy, pretty much, to make it simple. Spider-Man colors, right? So if you see red, I'm looking for sells. If you see blue, I am looking for buys, okay? So when we're looking at what we have on our screen right now, there's a few things that we have. Number one is we have these little check marks right here, as you guys can see. All right, these blue check marks on the bottom of the market, red check marks on the top of the market. Now remember what I said, red means sell, blue means buy. So what you would want to do is these check marks, I want to get them out of the way first to clear things up. These are added confirmation. They're additional. I don't use these as actual like indicators to determine whether or not I get into a trade. It's more like I look for my setup. I'm looking for a trade. And if I get a check mark, I say, okay, it's kind of like extra confirmation. Okay, I feel good. I feel a little bit better about it. So these check marks kind of identify these reversal points or where strength is heading, where the market is heading pretty much, right? That's what these check marks kind of represent. So when you start to get a shift in direction of the market, you'll kind of get these check marks. And again, just like any other indicator or any strategy out there, the check marks are not 100% accurate, which is why you cannot use them by themselves. But if you pair them up with what it is that I'm about to teach you, they can be very useful. Okay, so that's number one, the check marks. Number two is going to be our Bollinger Bands. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with the Bollinger Bands are just moving averages that we use, all right? And you kind of put them together. They create these bands on the top and on the bottom. And how they work is very simple. They pretty much allow you, as a trader, this is the way that we use it, is to be able to identify what we call, okay, let me type this out so you guys get it, overbought, okay, and oversold markets. Okay, so we use our Bollinger Bands to be able to identify overbought and oversold markets. As a matter of fact, let me do this, okay? I'm going to do this for you guys. So when the markets are overbought, that is the top of a market, okay? And at the top of the market, we are looking for sells, okay? When the markets are oversold, okay, that is the bottom of the market. And at the bottom of the market, we are looking for, obviously, buys. Now, if you guys are having, I know there's always people that kind of have a hard time with this concept, like remembering it, especially if you're brand new, okay? How you would want to remember this very easily is just remember, obviously, buy low, sell high, okay? If we're going shopping, for example, okay, where's everybody from? Where's everybody from? Okay, where's everybody from? Dropping in the chat. So, I don't know about you guys. I'm from New York, right? In New York, a lot of people flip sneakers. It's like one of the biggest hustles, like for like the last 10 years, right? But people always flip sneakers in New York. I'm sure they flip sneakers where you're at as well, right? But I'm from New York, so I know New York, okay? So back in the day, before they had all these sneaker bots and stuff like that, where literally, you know, you have the bots. Before the bots, in New York, it could be freezing cold, it could be snowing outside, it could be raining outside. And the sneaker flippers will sit outside of the store on Times Square, 42nd Street, 34th Street, 125th Street, you name it, right? 3rd Ave. People were sitting outside of the store to buy these sneakers at midnight or whenever they were released, to wait in line to buy the sneakers right as they were released, okay? Now, when we're looking at the markets, there's a reason why I'm telling you this. When we're looking at the markets, I want you guys to see it like this. Why were people willing to wait outside for hours, sometimes even overnight, and sleep outside to wait till the store opens so that they can buy these sneakers? Why were they doing that? Why were they willing to do that? And if they didn't do it themselves, they hired somebody to do it, right? If they were really making money, they hired people to do it. But why do people do that? Okay? Dropping in the chat. Why do people do that? They do it to get the sneaker while the price is low. So like a pair of Yeezys, for example, will drop, and the Yeezys could be like what, $200, right? It could be like a $200 pair of Yeezys. That's a horrible 200, right? It could be like a $200 pair of Yeezys, and they're willing to stand outside all night to buy the Yeezys at a low price of $200. Why? Because as more and more Yeezys get bought, what does it do to the price? It drives the price up, right? It drives the price up to eventually the Yeezys become overbought and what? Sold out. You guys following me? Right? Hopefully this is making sense. Right? I try to make it relatable. Okay. So again, they wait online. Why? To buy the Yeezys at a super low price, $200, because the more the Yeezys are bought, okay, the price drives up more and more and more. They become more in demand, right? Until eventually they become sold out and overbought. Okay. Now what happens? Well, when the Yeezys become sold out and overbought, well, now they're at an all-time high. And when the price is at its highest, what do those buyers do? They sell. They sell to everyone who was not willing to go ahead and do what they need to do to be the first ones to get a pair of Yeezys or of Nikes or Jordans or whatever the case may be, right? So everyone that was late to the party, you have these buyers that are now selling off, and then you have some people that are getting in, but they're getting in and they're losing money. They don't even know why they're losing money. Well, it's because you were a consumer and not a producer, right? So when we're looking at the markets, it's the same exact concept. You start from the bottom, price gets driven up, and then eventually it gets so high to the point where it becomes overbought. And as it becomes overbought, people start to sell. They sell. They drive the price back down to the bottom. It becomes oversold. And when it becomes oversold, what happens? Well, Yeezy drops another sneaker, and they repeat the process. Boom, boom. Okay, another sneaker repeats the process. And it does this again and again and again and again and again. So that's the overbought, oversold, simplified. Hopefully that makes sense to you, okay? Now, when we're talking about Bollinger Bands and how the Bollinger Bands work, to make it very simple for you guys, all right? To make it very simple for you guys, this is how the Bollinger Bands work. It's like this, okay? Whenever you see the markets come up to the top Bollinger Band, that is an overbought market. And in an overbought market, we are looking for sells, right? When it comes to the top Bollinger Band here, comes all the way up. Top bands are right here. Overbought, we are looking for sells. Very simple. When the market comes down, and you get areas where the markets are in the oversold area, the bottom Bollinger Bands, we are looking for buys. Comes to the bottom Bollinger Bands, looking for buys. Does that make sense? Bottom Bollinger Band, looking for buys. Okay? So that's the overbought, oversold concept, okay? Now, here's what I want you to understand. Before we move on, understand this. The Bollinger Bands are not an end-all, be-all indicator, okay? In fact, almost no indicators do you want to base your trading solely off of just one indicator. You don't want to do that, okay? Here's why. These are what I call confirmations, okay? Now, write this down. There's a difference between trade confirmations and trade entry points, all right? This is important stuff. Right, so write it down. There's a difference between trade confirmations and trade entry points. Okay? A trade confirmation is what I look for to be able to determine a potential trade. So if it doesn't meet my confirmation criteria, I don't even consider it as a trade that I'm looking at. So these are confirmations and then your entry points. The entry point is what I say, okay, now that I have all of my confirmation, this setup meets the criteria for me being able to say, okay, now it's time to enter. Now, what determines your entry? There are many different things that can determine your entry. It could be a candlestick, like an engulfing candle, for example, right? We got an engulfing candle right here. You can get in at the opening of the new candle, and it could be an engulfing, right? It could be a pattern, whether you get a head and shoulders, an M pattern or W pattern, whatever the case may be. It could be a teacup, right? A pattern. It can also be something like the indicator doing a specific thing, which I'm going to get into right after this and talk about one of my favorite entry points. And I'm going to give that to you guys as well. Okay? But that is the basic concept of the Bollinger Band. When it comes to the top, buy, sell. When it comes to the bottom, buy. But you don't want to use it by itself. You want to stack up on some confirmations, okay? Stack up on some confirmations, all right? So the next thing that we're going to look for is this, okay? Is this right here. Let me go ahead and boom. Stochastics, okay? How many of you here are familiar with the stochastic oscillator? All right? The stochastic oscillator. Let me hit up the chat really quick. Right? All right. So the stochastic oscillator. Now, before I get into the actual indicator itself, I'm going to give you my settings. It's very simple. I'm not even going to open it. I'm just going to tell you them. Anything, because obviously some of you guys might open up your settings and they might look a little bit different, okay? So anything that we have that is, if anything on your screen says 14, you're going to change that to 5. So by default, it might say 14. It might say 7. I don't know. On the stochastic, if you see 14, change it to 5. And if you see 1, change to 3. So anything that's 14, you're going to change to 5. Anything that you see as 1, you're going to change to 3. So my settings are 5 and 3 to keep it simple for you guys. Okay? 5 and 3. Now, when you change that 1 to 3, what that does is that it separates our stochastic lines. So typically when you're looking at a stochastic or even like an RSI, for example, right? It's always one line. It's one line. When you go to a stochastic and you change it to 3, it separates that one line and makes it 2 lines. And I'm going to tell you why we need the 2 lines, okay? Now, if you guys are not familiar with the stochastic, it's a momentum-based oscillator. What does that mean? These white lines, the squiggly white lines, this is momentum in the markets. So these white lines are not following the markets. They're not strength in the markets, right? They are momentum. Where is momentum going? Where are the markets being pushed momentum-wise? Okay? So momentum is either pushing to the upside or the downside at all times. It's either going up or it's going down, all right? When we're looking at our stochastic, it's very simple. Whenever our momentum line comes up above this top line right here, which is the 80% mark, you can see that right over here in this corner, 80%. Whenever it comes above 80%, it's the same exact concept as the Bollinger Bands. On the top, it's overbought. Okay? Whenever our momentum lines come down and cross below our 20% line, you see that right over here. Okay? Right above my head. Right there. 20%. That is oversold. So you got overbought on the top. Same thing. Oversold on the bottom. All right? Let me know if you guys are following me. All right? So overbought on the top, oversold on the bottom. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and get rid of all that. So as the market comes up and they come into an overbought market, again, we're looking for sells. When it comes to the oversold market, we're looking for buys. Now the question is that when do we get into the trade? My all-time favorite entry point, man, I use it for almost every strategy that I have, whether it's Forex, MT4, whether it's binary options, whether I'm trading Nadex, whether I'm trading commodities or crypto, whatever. I always use this. In fact, I know a lot of people that, if you guys are interested in trading crypto, I have a few people that actually follow my strategy and how it is that I trade crypto, and actually are very profitable with trading crypto with it as well, right? So it's not just binaries that you guys can stick to with this, okay? Now, my favorite entry point is going to be this right here. It's when you see those momentum lines come up into overbought, and then they shoot down, but more importantly, they cross each other. All right? They cross each other going down. I look for the stochastic cross. Okay? Whenever they cross each other, going in the direction that I'm looking to trade, that is typically when I'm looking to get into the trade. Okay? So first I collect all of my confirmations. Once I get my confirmations, I then proceed to wait for my stochastic cross to then go ahead and get into the trade. Okay? Now, for those of you who wait for a new candle to open, I know there are some people that wait for the new candlestick to open, all right, before they get into a trade. What I would do is I would enter the trade at the next candle after my cross. So some people get in as soon as it crosses. Some people get in at the next candle after the cross. All right. Either one works. Whatever works best with your trading style, it works. Okay. Now, vice versa. Whenever the markets are oversold on the bottom, I want to see my stochastics cross going up. Once they cross, that will be my entry. Okay. That will be my entry. All right. And we're going to go back to the markets. We're going to go back to the top. I'm going to hit up the chat for a few questions. Oops. No. All right. I'm going to hit the chat for a few questions. And then we're going to get into the next indicator right after this. Okay. We're going to get into the next indicator right after this. Okay. So let me go ahead and hit up the chat really quickly. Make sure that I'm not leaving anyone out. All right. Let's see what we got here. All right. Boom, 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 boom. Yes, Nadex is very confusing, but then you also have to ask yourself, how secure do you want your money to be? Because Nadex is the only regulated binary options platform in the US, which means you will never have issues withdrawing your money, right? You will never have issues getting your money. You can withdraw straight and you can deposit and withdraw straight to your bank account, right? For tax purposes, it's an actual form of income. Right? If you're looking to get a house, you're getting a car, whatever the case may be, it's an actual form of income, right? You do pay taxes on it. So like little things like that, there's a lot of pros and cons to it. The con of it being a little complicated, in my opinion, the pros outweigh that because of all the benefits, right? You can also, again, a lot of offshore binary options brokers have rules to withdrawing, right? So they'll say like, oh, you got to double your account or your turnover before you make a withdrawal. On Nadex, you can make $20 today and withdraw $20 today, no problem, right? And that's just an example. But what I'm saying is, there's never any rules with withdrawals, okay? So you kind of got to outweigh the pros and cons there. All right. All right, let's get it. All right. Hold on. I've been using the DeLorean scanner hyperdrive to trade binaries. It's amazing. You know, I've been hearing a lot about hyperdrive. I have not used it myself, but I might tap into that. I've been hearing. I know hyperdrive is fire because I have a lot of my students that actually trade DeLorean on MT4. And through that, they've been telling me about hyperdrive, and I haven't tried hyperdrive, but I heard it's fire for binary options. All right. Let's see. All right. As what happened to the PS5? Oh, yeah. All right. So it said that's a great explanation. Thank you. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. What about higher highs and higher lows? Well, we're not going over that today. That's market structure. All right. Boom. Go off. Go off, Dan. School's in session. All right. All right. So, boom. So someone says, so the top part oversold, bottom part overbought. No, that's backwards. The top part is overbought. Okay. If something's at the top, if it's at its highest price, it's because there's a lot of people buying it. Okay. The bottom part is oversold. All right. There's too many people selling, so it's at the bottom. Okay. There's too many people selling, so it's at the bottom. If there's too many people buying, then it's at the top. All right. That means it's overbought. All right. Yes, everything that, yeah, I teach literally every little thing that I implement in my trading, I teach on my sessions. So if you guys, do want to tap into that. To answer your question, J9, right? I teach all of that. I teach this and way more, all right, on my live sessions. All right. Is that you earned income? What does that mean? Richard, you said, is that you earned income? What does that mean? What do you mean by that? All right. Every time it pulls back to the yellow EMA, take a sell or buy depending on what the scanner says. Well, I'm guessing you're talking about hyperdrive, right? Often after doing a sell during overbought, the price starts going higher and I lose mostly this way. Well, that's why we're on this session today, brother. Hopefully we can change that for you. All right. All right, cool. So, all right, so let's tap back into this. All right, let's tap back in. All right. How you guys enjoying the session so far? Are you guys liking it? If you guys have me on Instagram, by the way, if you have me on Instagram, feel free to tag me if you guys go ahead and post anything. All right. Sheesh. That boy Dylan said I went 31. Oh my God, I got to read this. You went 31-3 today on Hyperdrive? Now you about to sell me on it, man. I'm an educator. You about to sell me on the Hyperdrive, man. That's crazy. I might have. I definitely got to check that out, man. I'm telling you, a lot of people on my team, a lot of people in my group, they do trade DeLorean. So I know Tyrone's a savage, right? So let's get into the next indicator. Okay, so the next indicator that we're going to be looking at, and this is the indicator that I always add to my 3-step setup. Which, by the way, guys, what I'm teaching you right now is the foundation of how it is that I trade. And what I mean by that is I still use this same exact setup that I'm teaching you now. I just know more about the market, so I implement more things like reversals, support, resistance, market structure, as someone said, higher highs, higher lows, so on and so forth, trading the trend. I have a lot more in my arsenal, but for the most part, this is how I trade. All right, this is exactly how I trade. So the next thing that we're going to be adding to our screen, you cannot find this on Pocket Option or any platform for that matter. And by the way, guys, I always recommend this to everyone. If you guys are really want to be professional traders or even take trading serious, you have to have a charting platform. Okay, I know a lot of binary options brokers allow you to chart up on the actual broker itself, but use an actual platform. Okay, like Tradingview, for example. Okay, or even if you're on MT4, use MT4. Don't mark up on the broker. Okay, I wouldn't recommend it. You're not offered as many tools. You're not offered as many indicators. You can't really save presets and stuff like that. If you want to take it to the next level and really be a trader, use a charting platform. Okay, so this next one is only on Tradingview. Okay, and this is the DMI Stochastic Extreme. So you're going to go to your indicators. You're going to type to say DMI Stochastic Extreme. As you guys can see, I already have it favorited. It's the one with the most amount of likes. Okay. It's not version 2. It doesn't have a dash. It's not the blank one that only has 1,200 likes. It has 2,600 likes on it. That is the one that you're going to be using. Now, obviously, if you're watching this in the future, it probably has more likes. But again, the one with the most amount of likes, DMI Stochastic Extreme. Okay. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to load it up. We're going to look at the settings on it. Okay. And as we are looking at the settings, it's very simple, guys. I'm pretty sure these are default. I don't think I changed it. So 10 and 3 for the settings. And then when we're looking at the stochastic, you want to make sure, number one, sometimes, and this also depends on what color chart you have. So if your background is white, obviously you don't want your stochastic to be white. If your background is black, you don't want your stochastic to be black. Okay. So make sure your stochastic is visible, is my point. You have your overbought and your oversold lines. Again, mine is red and blue, like always. Okay. And then you have your pretty much your S and your B's. All right. Now, also, what is going on over there? Depending on what browser you are on. Okay. Depending on what browser you are on, it might not say S or B's. It might have maybe an arrow up and down. It might be something else. I don't know. All right. But it might not be S and B's. I just recommend just go ahead, highlight it, type in a B. All right. Oops. Type in a B, type in an S. That's it. Very simple. Okay. Type in a B, type in an S. Simple. All right. And these are the settings. All right. Now, I'm not going to go too much into the concept because it's the same exact concept as the stochastic. We just got a few more things that we get to look at on this. Okay. So the top, overbought. Again. Bottom, oversold. Again. This is momentum in the markets. Again, nothing changed on that aspect, okay? Now, what we do get with the DMI Stochastic Extreme is we get these two things right here, S and B, okay? Now, this is more of a beginner's indicator. When you are using it, there's two ways that I use it, okay? You have the beginner way of using it, which is the more patient way of using it, and then you have the more advanced way of using it, whereas as you guys start to get better at trading, okay, that sun is insane right now. Oh my God. As you guys start to get better at trading, you don't really have to look for everything that I'm about to show you with this. Is pretty much my point, okay? So the way that this works is very simple. Whenever the markets become over, all right, the momentum comes up and it becomes overbought. As soon as it touches that overbought line and exits, as soon as it exits the overbought line, you're going to get a confirmation signal to sell, okay? When it becomes oversold, as soon as it comes up and touches and exits oversold, okay, you're going to get that confirmation signal to buy. Very simple. So as soon as it exits overbought, you get an S. As soon as it exits oversold, you get a B for buy or sell, okay? Now, when we're using this, I like to use it in the sense of knowing how to use this, all right? How I use it is very simple. I use it in looking for what I call the DMI extension, okay? DMI extension. Now, if you are brand new, here's what I have to, like a disclaimer here, okay? A lot of the times, you're going to get your stochastic cross before you get the DMI extension, okay? You're going to get the stochastic cross before you get the DMI extension. If you want to take the safer route, wait, all right, to get both the cross and the extension, okay? The reason being is how many of you here have ever been in a trade that everything was looking good, and then out of nowhere, it reverses on you, you lose the trade, and then after the trade, it goes into your direction? How many of you have ever been in a trade where everything was looking good? You enter the trade, it goes the opposite way, you lose, and then after you lost, it goes into your direction, right? And then you're sitting there like, oh my God, this broker's a scam. These brokers are scamming me, man. I hate binary options. Well, look, here's the thing. Here's what you got to understand. The markets are going to do what the market's going to do regardless. Unless you are on a broker that manipulates, like Forex, for example, race option, whereas they do it, there's a lot of spikes on those brokers that don't add up with the actual market, right? They spike a lot. Unless you're on one of those platforms, a lot of the times, the broker has nothing to do with it. A lot of the times, you're just getting faked out. Like this, for example. So you guys see here how we exited, we got the B, and then you got faked out. And then, after you lost, it shot up. That's the actual market, right? It happened here too. Look, boom, came out, got the B, comes up, and then boom. After you lost, it moves in that direction, right? So the way to avoid that, when I was brand new to trading, I was actually very impatient, okay? And I know a lot of you can relate to it, whether you want to admit to it or not, right? I was very impatient. And what I had to learn is that the best setups with this strategy right here, especially for brand new people, the best setups for the three-step setup, the best ones are going to be where your stochastic cross and your DMI happens at the same time. At the same time, on the same candle is what I mean. All right, obviously not at the same exact time, but on the same candle. All right. Now, if you get the DMI extension on the next candle after the cross, that is acceptable too. What you don't want though is you don't want to wait, all right, until the stochastics is all the way. And let me show you. You don't want to wait until, if you're looking for let's say we're going for sells, you don't want to wait until the stochastics are all the way down here, okay, at the overbought area before you get that obviously DMI extension. In that case, it might be a little bit too late to enter the trade. Give me a second, guys. I'm gonna close this curtain because I'm sweating. Sweating OD out here. Okay. It's gonna be a little bit of shading. You know what I'm saying? I think that should be good. I think that should be good. We should be good with that. All right. The sun is crazy right now. Okay. So again, as I was saying, so yeah, there is going to be a point in time where there are going to be some trades. What just happened? I think one of my selfie lights just broke or died. Whatever. But anyway, there are going to be some trades whereas, again, sometimes your indicators are not going to line up. And I want to make that very clear right from the jump. Sometimes those indicators are not going to line up, okay? If they do not line up, you do not get into the trade. This is where discipline comes into play. I know sometimes you be itching to go ahead and take a trade just to take the trade, but if you don't get your lineups, if they're not lined up, do not take the trade, guys. Here's what you got to understand. Look, the 3-step setup that I'm teaching you right now, this is not even including support and resistance. We haven't even gotten into that yet, right? So this is not including that, right? So when we're talking about the 3-step setup, it's only 3 steps. Wait until you get all 3 steps, okay? Wait until you get all 3 steps before you take the trading. If you don't get all 3 steps, you do not what? You do not take the trade, okay? So we got 3 steps here. Step number 1, Bollinger Bands overbought. Step number 2, Stochastics overbought. Step number 3, DMI overbought. Those are the 3 things that we're looking for. We want either 3 overboughts or 3 oversold confirmations, okay? Either 3 overboughts or 3 oversold confirmations. Once we get that, now we're looking for our entry point, and the entry point is going to be the stochastic cross. So let me go ahead. All right, we're going to get rid of this really quick. Let me go ahead, and we're going to look at a few setups before we go ahead and wrap up the live. We'll look at a few setups right now, okay? As you guys remember, when we first started this live, this was actually a setup right here as well. Happened right in front of us, right? Literally happened right in front of us. But let's go ahead and take a look at this, all right? And before we get into that, I'm going to teach you guys something as well. So when you're trading, there's 2 types of markets that you typically want to trade in, okay? Number 1, you have trending markets. Oops. So you have your trending markets. Now, me personally, I prefer trading the trend, and we're not going to get too much into that today, all right? I'm not going to get too much into that today. But when you're trading binary options, you're either trading the trend, right? Or you are trading a range. So you have trending markets and ranging markets, okay? A trending market would be something like this. This will be a nice trending market. Oops. Boom. Right? Where we can consistently get into those buys on the uptrend as the markets continue to push up, bounce off that middle Bollinger Band, right? Boom, boom, right? Boom, so on and so forth, until eventually the trend breaks, goes consolidation, right? So on, you get it, right? So that's a trending market, okay? The range market is what most binary options traders do, especially when you're brand new. This is where you're catching those quick reversals, and you're probably only in the trade for about 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, about 3 to 5 minutes. You're in the trade, and you're in and you're out. A ranging market is a market that literally bounces back and forth off of a specific price range. Okay, specific price range. That's why it's called a ranging market. Now, what's really cool about ranging markets is that in a ranging market, it's actually very easy to identify support and resistance levels because price keeps bouncing off of these levels so consistently. Now, when we're trading, in order to be able to determine or try to guess what's going to happen next in the market, we have to be getting good at looking at what happened previously in the market. So we look at what happened in the past to determine what's going to happen in the future. Okay? Remember that. You want to look at what happened in the past to determine what's going to happen in the future. So if we're looking at the past, okay, and we're just understanding ranges really quickly, okay, here's what I would do, right? Because I know a lot of you struggle with support and resistance. Okay, I'll make it really quick. Support and resistance is just areas in the market where you see the market having trouble or having a reaction to, meaning bouncing or breaking. The reactions are either going to be a bounce to the upside or the downside, or a break to the upside or the downside. When you get those reactions, this is where you know obviously support and resistance are most likely going to lie. So for example, the markets come up, it creates this high right here, comes down, right? Boom, boom. Okay, so we have 2 touches right here in this area. What I can then do is, okay, 2 touches, boom. I could put a line there. All right. After those 2 touches, it comes down. All right, comes down to here. I can put a line there as a new low. Comes all the way back up to the top and comes back up to this previous price right here. Once it comes back up to this previous price here, I'll go ahead and put another line. So now we got 3 lines. Okay, 3 lines. Now there's a reason why I'm showing you this really quickly. By the way, this is a teacup, right? For those of you who tapped in and watch my teacup videos and trainings, boom, boom, boom. Got a beautiful teacup right there, obviously for the sell, okay? But more importantly, I want you guys to see this really quickly. Based off of what I plotted up over here, okay? So I plotted this over here based off of these bounces. Boom, 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 boom. Based off of that, I plotted some support and resistance levels. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to look into the future. I'm going to highlight this area right here just to show you. We're going to look into the future and see if we can stick to these support and resistance levels. So as I move on to the right, okay, as you guys see, the markets consistently use these lines as potential bounce areas and had reactions to either the upside or the downside. Do you guys see that? Let me know in the chat if you see that. Now again, this is not a support and resistance training. I'm just showing you how simple this actually is. Boom. 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 I can go on for days. But because of the range, okay, because of this range that took place back here, let's look at what's happening today in the markets. Does this range from today, drop it in the chat, does this range from today line up with the support and resistance levels that I marked up back here, which was last week? Was that last week? Yeah, it was last week. Let me know in the chat. Does today's range on support and resistance levels line up with what it was that I marked up last week? Yes or no? Put it in the chat. Do you guys see that? I didn't even know. I'm like looking at the chat real quick. I don't know if there's like spammers in the chat, right? But I was gonna say I didn't even know that like the bots can do that. I didn't know the bots can be on the live chats. Hopefully we don't have any bots on the live chat, but it kind of looks like we do. Some of you guys look like bots. If you're not, you look like a bot, right? But so yes, the answer is yes. As I see you guys putting in the chat, right? Someone said I would say no. The answer is absolutely yes. Okay. So the 3 lines that I plotted up from back here, you can still apply those 3 lines to today. I don't know how you can say no, but yes, they still very much apply to today. And I plotted these back here, right? Boom. Okay. Very much line up with what's going on today. Okay. So let's just look at this quick range, for example. All right. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to. All right. We are going to. How does war affect the stock market? I don't know. I don't trade stocks. All right. But we're going to go ahead. We're going to look at the strategy that we just went over today. All right. I'm not really going to incorporate too much of the support and resistance aspect because we didn't talk about that, even though I did briefly talk about it just now. I'm not going to make that like a determining factor. Okay. What I really just want to focus on is the 3 confirmations that we get. All right. And then going ahead and getting our entry point. Okay. So if we're looking at something like this. All right. Now, by the way, before I move on, for the person that said no, I think I understand why you're saying no. This is why most people get confused with support and resistance. Okay. You got to understand support and resistance are not exact prices. They're not. Okay. And I think that's what gets people confused. They're not exact prices. They're zones. They're areas. Okay. They are areas. So if we're looking zone wise, absolutely yes. Okay. Yes, we can say that they mark up or they match up with what went on or what's going on today. Support and resistance is not like, it's not an end all be all price. There's zones. I'm sure most of you guys have seen traders with like the yellow boxes or blue boxes on their screen because they're marking up zones, right? So this is buying and selling zones, okay? So going back to what I was saying, because I had to adjust that real quick. because I know a lot of people get confused with that. You start to think too hard about your support and resistance levels, and that's where you mess up, okay? So they are zones, okay? They're zones, they're areas, all right? So let's look at this real quick, all right? So we're gonna go back into the markets, do a quick market replay, okay? And by the way, guys, I didn't mark this up ahead of time or anything like that. This is literally, I just got on the charts today, and we're literally just going through this randomly today, right? And I'm going to show you guys that obviously it works, okay? So as we're going along, okay, as we can see here, so we're looking at what's happening right now in the markets. Obviously, our stochastics is already overbought. Our DMI is already overbought. So what's our third step? We're waiting for our Bollinger Bands to be overbought as well. So we don't have all three confirmations. Therefore, we are not, all right, getting into this trade just yet. So let's go ahead. All right. Now, with the Bollinger Bands as well, guys, it's at or near. So I want to make that clear, at or near. All right. So as you guys see here, very first trade setup, we come up, we go ahead, we wick that Bollinger Band, we get our stochastic cross. All right. The DMI is starting to push as well. All right. And this is the point where I also said, if you want to be super safe, wait for the DMI extension. As you start to get better, you don't necessarily have to do it. Me personally, looking at something like this, I see that not only did we get our confirmations, but we're also at a level of what? Resistance. So that's an additional confirmation for me as well. All right. But I'll go ahead. I'll put a vertical line right at the stochastic cross. Boom. Somewhere in that area. All right. And as you guys can see, the market's dropped. Very simple. So whether you would have gotten in at the beginning of that candle or at the end of that candle, all right, which is the next candle, whether you would have gotten in at this candle or the next candle, okay, you would have been able to clear this, all right? Most of you said 3 to 5 minutes. Some of you said 2 minutes. Either way, this is the 5-minute candle. Market's dropped, okay? Market's dropped. Boom, 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 all right? Now, some of you also use the 3 candlestick rule as well. If you use the 3 candlestick rule, 1, 2, 3, you would have cleared, or 1, 2, 3, you would have cleared, okay? Very simple, all right? We're coming towards the end of this live, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it, okay? This would have been a good setup as well, but I did not take this. Why? Why did I not take this, guys? Yes, we are at support, but I said we're not going to focus on that today. It didn't come down to the Bollinger Bands, and our stochastic cross is over here, so wouldn't have taken that trade, so we're not going to count it, all right? We're only going to look at the trades where we get all 3 setups, all 3 confirmations, sorry. All right, once we get all 3 confirmations, those are the trades that we are looking at. All right, so boom, as you guys can see, we come down. This one is a better one. We get our Bollinger Bands, boom, confirmation number 1. Overbought here, overbought there, boom, boom, looking good. Okay, now we got our stochastic cross right over there. So on this candle, as you guys see, the stochastics just crossed. All right, so let me rewind that if you guys didn't catch it. Okay, we're going to rewind it once so you can see what I'm talking about. Right here at this blue candle, they did not cross yet. Even though the candle is blue, some of you would have gotten in early, and that is not good, right? We wait for our confirmations and our entry, okay? So they did not cross yet. They crossed here. So if you would have gotten in here, as you guys can see, stochastic cross, we got the buy signal on the DMI. It's starting to push up as well. Boom. All right, there you go. Nice clear 5-minute candle. All right, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. All right. Now, if you would have waited for the DMI extension, that would have been here. So again, whether you would have gotten in at the opening of the candle or the next candle, whether you've gotten in at the opening or the next candle, you would have cleared this trade. That's 2 back-to-back examples. All right, back-to-back examples where we get all 3 setups and we're good. On top of that, this is also support that we have here. So this is a level of support. All right, we're going to go a few more minutes and I'm going to answer questions and we're going to wrap up the live. You guys can go back and study, rewatch, and ask questions on later lives. Okay, so boom. Now, let's keep going. We're at the top Bollinger Band. Let's see if we get a setup. I don't know, but we're about to see. All right. Boom. So as you guys see, come up to the top Bollinger Band. Boom. Overbought. Overbought. So we got all 3 overboughts on this. All right. We go ahead. Where did the stochastic cross? Right here. Boom. Okay. And as you guys can see, yet again, this is 3 back-to-back examples. Stochastic cross on this candle. So whether you would have gotten in on this candle or you would have waited for the new candle, these are three down, down, down. Three back-to-back bearish candles. You would have cleared, obviously, this trade, whether you got in early, whether you got in late, whether you waited for the DMI extension. You were good to go on all three setups. So eventually, it comes back down to support again. All right? So three back-to-back examples where we cleared. Okay? Boom. Let's keep going. All right? And I'm going to stop it right after this, okay? All right, so this is the last example. We didn't go ahead and touch the Bollinger Bands just yet, obviously, but we are at that same level of support that we got our last two entries on. So, well, few entries, right? But support, resistance, bouncing off of that range. Again, stochastic cross, right? I'm not going to count it because we didn't get the Bollinger Band, so I'm not going to count it, but I just want to show you guys. Again, stochastic cross, DMI extension, everything's looking good. We entered, we clear, go back to the top of the range, and this thing is like clockwork, man. It's like clockwork. It does this over and over and over again, okay? Over and over and over again, all right? Now, this is the setup. I think this one, I don't know, 3, this, I think it's 4 o'clock or whatever. But regardless, you guys get it. You get it by now. So we went over 4 back-to-back examples that literally just happened right before we got on this session, all right, right before this live stream. These are 4 back-to-back examples that happened right before the live stream. And as you guys can see, even as we were on the live stream, we were getting setups as well, all right, buy and sell setups from the actual same exact strategy, okay? Nothing changed, all right? So hopefully that makes sense. That is the 3-step setup. And again, the 3-step setup is the foundation of how I trade. This is not yet incorporating, obviously, market patterns, all right? This is not yet incorporating candlestick reversals. This is not yet incorporating higher highs, higher lows, equal highs, equal lows, support and resistance. Again, we briefly did support and resistance today, showed you how it worked, but not necessarily showed you how to mark it up, or didn't spend a lot of time showing you how to mark it up. But again, just off the foundation and the basis of the 3-step setup, even without knowing any of that stuff, you guys would have still been good to clear all 4 of these setups. Does that make sense in the chat, guys? Let me know in the chat if what I'm saying makes sense to you all. All right? So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to hit up the chat. We're going to answer a few questions and begin to wrap it up for today. By the way, guys, if you guys did enjoy this session, make sure you like it. All right? If you haven't already liked, I know we have, right now, we have over 90 viewers on right now, and there's only 50 likes. So let's bump up that like count. All right? Bump up the like count. If you're watching it, go ahead and drop a live. Go ahead and drop a like. If you're watching it live, and if you're watching the replay, and you made it up until this point, obviously you like the video, so go ahead and like it, okay? Like it, add it to your favorites, all right? So on and so forth. Definitely appreciate it, guys. Like I said, remember, look, I'm giving out this free information for free. So, like, I do this on YouTube. Hopefully you guys support my YouTube channel by going ahead and liking my videos, sharing them out, so on and so forth. I appreciate it because, again, to be honest, like, I don't have to do this. And a lot of traders are not willing to do this. Like, I was on here for an hour and a half with you guys. My son's out there watching TV. I could have been playing with him. Actually, I don't know what he's doing. He's actually really quiet, so it makes me a little nervous. Right? For all my parents, you know what I'm feeling right now, okay? But his mom's out there, so he should be good. All right, so let's see. Let's go ahead and check the chat really quickly. All right. Boom, 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 boom. Let's see where we left off at last time. Hey, I just got my first super chat. I didn't even know I had super chat. So shout out to Richard, man. Just donated $20 to me. That's lit. All right, that is lit. I didn't know we can do that yet. I thought like YouTube had to allow that or something. But that is lit, man. Shout out to you, Rich. I appreciate it. Richard, $20. He just bought me some Starbucks, man. Thank you, man. Appreciate it for real. All right, so let's look at the chat. Let's see. I know we left off at my man Defin. He was talking about how do you say your name? Dyfin or Defan? Defan Buffy? Anyway, he was talking about hyperdrive. Went 31-3, which is insane. All right, let's see. Boom, boom, boom. All right, so unfortunately, there's a lot of comments that are not English. I only speak English. I know I look Spanish, and my name is Rico, but I'm actually not Spanish. So everyone thinks I'm Spanish, right? I look Spanish. My name is Rico, so like I get it. But I'm actually not Spanish. I'm actually black, to be exact. Most of my family is like from the south of America, like not South America, but from the south side of the U.S. but originally from like Nigeria, and that side of Africa. And then my mom's Italian, Jewish Italian. So I'm actually black and Italian. Go figure, right? So I'm not Spanish at all. All right, but let's go ahead. Let's tap into it. Let's see. All right, boom, 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 boom. How do you feel about IG trading platforms? What do you mean about IG trading platforms? You talking about Instagram? James Smith, how do you feel about IG trading platforms? If you're talking about people like reaching out to you on Instagram about that kind of stuff, I would stay away from it. They're all scammers. They're all scammers on Instagram. If anybody reaches out to you on Instagram about investing with them and sending them Bitcoin or whatever the case may be, it is all scammers, guys. Don't get fooled by it. Definitely not by my fake accounts. My only Instagram is spelled the exact way that it's spelled here on YouTube. All right? So we got to make that clear. Okay. All right, so let me go ahead. Let me see some more. Boom, boom, boom. I see a lot of you guys answering my questions on there. What is the name of the indicator? I'm not sure which one, but they should all, you can go back, rewatch it, man. Go back and rewatch it. You should be able to find it. I'm going to put timestamps on this as well. So when this is done, I'll rewatch it myself and timestamp it so that when you guys do go back, it'll be easier for you to find certain things. Because I know we have a live session. Yes, that sun is definitely wilding. So I live like right off of the water. My spot is right off the water over here in Miami. And when it's sunset, like around this time, that's why I got this big curtain, right? But when it's sunset, the sun like beams right in here. And obviously my windows are like from floor to ceiling. And this is my office. So like, it's a perfect spot for the office, right? When I first moved in, it was lit until I started to sit here and realize how hot it is. And it's so crazy because the AC is blasting. The rest of my apartment is probably cold as you know what. And my girl, it's probably freezing over there. But my office gets so hot because the sun comes straight in from right there, which is insane. All right. But yes, it is. That sun is wild. All right. So, boom, boom. Learn how to use TypeScript built-in trading. If you don't worry about making the trade, you can just automate it based off. I don't know what PineScript is. PineScript built into Tradingview. I'm not sure what that is. So, hey, educate me on it, man. Hit me up on Instagram. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but if it's legit, I don't mind trying it out. Which session do you think is best to trade with this strategy? So, if you're trading, so this strategy works, by the way, for both trending markets and ranging markets. What I would recommend is that if you're trading a ranging market, the best ranging market is Tokyo. Tokyo ranges so much. It moves very slow. It's easy to identify those support and resistance levels. So Tokyo is definitely the move for ranging markets, okay? For a trending market or for breakouts, I would recommend New York session in the morning. So New York session for more of the ranging markets, breakouts. Trending markets is more Tokyo. I've never traded London session for binary options, and I don't know too many binary options that trade London session. So New York and Tokyo have to be my two favorite. All right. Do you count pips or have range number for solid S&R lines? No, I don't really count pips. I don't really count pips too much. When I draw my support and resistance, it's usually on like from wick to bodies. So it's an average of the price in that area. All right. So I know a lot of people either do just wicks. A lot of people do just bodies. I do an average. My mentor taught me to do an average of wick to body touches. So like, for example, if we're looking at, let me pull this up for you. If we're looking at like this, for example. So here we have obviously, look, so this is a body touch, but here's a wick touch at that same area, right? So an average of all wick to body touches is what I look for, right? We got wick touches there. We got body touches. So look, this is all wick areas. Here we have bodies. I just line up the wicks and the bodies. Okay, so I do an average of that area. And that's how I get my zones. All right, that's how I get my zones. All right, hopefully that made sense. And hopefully that even answered your question, because I don't even know if that's what your question was. I'm not sure if that's what your question was, but hopefully I answered that for you, okay? So let's go ahead and continue. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. So again, how does war affect the stock market? I don't trade stocks for that reason. The stock market is very I mean, yes, you can be a technical trader in the stock market, but I personally find that the stock market is very much based on fundamentals, and I am not much of a fundamental trader in terms of knowing economics of what's going on in each country in the world, in the wars and the presidents and in the company finances and stuff like that. I trade Forex, man. It's easier. All right, it's easier. All right. So, Susie said, people instead of trading are in the battlefields. Yes, that is how that is one way that it affects the markets. Yes. All right. Let's get it. All right. What about price action? We didn't go over price action today, so I can't really answer that question too much. All right. Jilfy, I've never seen this before, but it says your comment is buffering. So I'm not sure if that's your internet, but the comment is not there yet. All right. How does the war between Russia and Ukraine affect the FX markets? It has not affected my trading at all, to be honest with you. I still trade the same exact way. Nothing has changed. All right. Yes, I use a 5-minute chart. Is this market a consolidated market? So yes, ranging markets a lot of the time, ranging markets and consolidated markets can be seen as the same. When you're looking for bigger moves in the markets, this would just be consolidation, and this would not be good for you. But if you are trading binaries on a shorter time frame like this, and you only have to be correct for like 1 candlestick, 2 candlesticks, 3 candlesticks, then a range could be perfect for you. So, yes. Okay. We are down to my guy Richard. Appreciate you again. A little extra scratch for the lit instruction. Appreciate the super chat, man. You are the GOAT for that. My first official super chat. I'm about to screenshot this. I'm gonna screenshot this and save it. I'll remember you in the future. Okay. All right. All right. Thanks so much. I was on your live last week, and now again learning a lot, plus solving some doubts. Let's get it. All right. Let's get it. Valencia. I remember you, Valencia, because I couldn't pronounce your first name, so I said I was going to call you Valencia. All right, but I'm glad you enjoy. I'm glad you was on both weeks, all right? We appreciate you, boss. I appreciate you as well. All right, Rich is the real MVP. That's a fact. All right. Preferred currency pairs that you use, time of days that you trade. I trade the morning. I trade New York session. I like trading EU and GU. But for the most part, I trade a lot of Nadex. 5-minute binaries, they only allow you 7 currency pairs anyway. So the 7 currency pairs that are on Nadex 5 minutes is typically what I would be trading. All right, let's get it. So I thought you were Dominican. Yeah, everyone thinks I'm Dominican. Everyone thinks I'm Dominican. It's crazy because when I have like the clean cut, right, I'm looking everyone thinks I'm Dominican, and then when I grow it out and I'm looking crazy scruffy, right, even like right now, I got my hat on. I need a haircut, so I'm not taking this thing off. But people even think I'm Dominican or Middle Eastern all the time. Dominican or Middle Eastern. All right. Boom. The live session was honestly amazing. Definitely benefiting a lot of knowledge. Highly appreciate this. I appreciate you for being on, right? Because then if no one was on, then I'll be talking to myself. And obviously I don't want to do that, right? Please point out the cross again. Stochastic cross. It's just when the two lines cross each other. So let's go back. It's when your two stochastic lines cross each other. You know what? I'll make a box going in the direction that you want the markets to move. That's it. Don't overcomplicate it. It's just when the two lines cross each other going in the direction that you want the markets to go. Boom. Very simple. All right. So whenever you see your stochastics cross going in, down, or up, obviously they have to be overbought and oversold as well. Whenever you see that, that's what you would typically want to see, okay? All right, let's get it. All right, scrolling down. New viewer, how often do you do these vlogs? So I'm trying to do them every week. All right, so for Avery, I'm trying to do them every week as well as uploading as well. So I'm going to be uploading actual videos. I'm going to be doing these lives hopefully every week. And then YouTube Shorts, man. YouTube Shorts have been fun. I like YouTube Shorts. I've been reposting, like as of now, I've been reposting my TikToks and my Instagram Reels, but I'm gonna get into the Shorts as well. And that's gonna be lit. All right. Someone said I chatted with you on IG. Hopefully it was me, guys. Make sure if you're talking to me, it is actually me. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Jackson, your comment is pending. Okay. Someone said I'm killing it on Nadex. Let's go. Deep pockets. Let's go, man. Run it up. Let's go. Let's go. My man, Take Profits. Hey, with another super chat. Okay. Got the $5 on deck. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate it, appreciate it, appreciate it. You know what I got to figure out, man? If you guys know how to do it, send me a video or something. Whenever the super chats come in, I don't know how these YouTube streamers, like, it like goes on the screen and it's like, oh, super chat, boom, right? I don't know how they do that. So that would be lit. If we can start having that on the screen as well, that'd be super lit. I don't know if it did it. It probably did do it. I doubt it. But another super chat by my guy, Take Profits. Let's go. Wow, I feel like an official YouTuber now. You know, only 72,000 subscribers later, I feel like an official YouTuber, right? Great call. Really appreciate it. Thanks. This video will be posted on YouTube. Yes, absolutely. It's going to be in a folder that says past or previous live streams. All right, so you're going to be able to find this. Relatively, how many trades would you say you take in a single day? 2 to 4. 2 to 4, nothing more. All right, 2 to 4 trades in a day, and I am good to go after that. All right. So, guys, we are going to go ahead and we are going to wrap it up for today. I appreciate each and every one of you for being on. I know this is probably the longest YouTube video I have ever done in my life. I think it's almost 2 hours that we're going on here. But hopefully you guys go back, you study, all right? And I think that's the biggest thing is studying. But study with the intent to implement, right? Study with the intent to implement. Make sure you go back, you study, but then you actually implement it. And if you guys are doing good, man, if you're seeing profits, if you're crushing it on the charts, whatever the case may be, feel free to tag me on Instagram as you guys are trading. I'll go ahead, repost y'all, give y'all a little bit of exposure as well. And run it up. Run it up. Do what you got to do, man. We're going to be back next week with another live as well, so stay tuned for that. I'm going to try to keep these consistent to every Tuesday because I am free for the most part on Tuesdays. Every Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So hopefully you guys do enjoy. And again, if you guys do want to go ahead and tap in to my trading group and community, start to learn from me. I do live stream 4 times a week, which is Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. All right, I live stream on our platform 4 times a week, going over everything that you need to really take your trading to the next level and kind of condense that time frame. So instead of getting me once a week on YouTube, you'll get me 5 times a week, which will be 4 on our platform and once on YouTube as well, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead, gonna run it up. If you have any questions, hit me up on Instagram. If you're ready to get started, go ahead and hit me up on Instagram as well, or head to the link in the description below. And I'll see you on the inside. This your boy Rico, aka Rockstar Effects. I'm out.